Beanoblack, folks, and basically what we're doing here is going through some footage from, and you'll see it coming up here in a second, and as you can see, it's early AM, okay? And then it burns through over there, and that's not the sun, as the sun doesn't come up that early, and then the sun is way more brighter. And as you've seen, that burnt through the clouds for a minute. Now, here again, as it plays fast, you'll end up seeing a black line, and that's me moving. I think you'll get a little bit of glitch from my, but the camera doesn't. As you see, you see those lines going through. So let me see if I can back that up so that you get that. So we'll go back, and you'll see these lines that get protruded. And there's one of them from something out in space. Now we've seen this before in smaller scale, but now it looks like it's gotten a lot larger. Now I'll just keep clicking and see if I can get back a little bit, and we'll see what we end up with in this darkness. Now there is that there, you're getting this and this, if you can see, and also that up there, okay? So we get these dark line images through. And let me go down a little size here so the idea you can see, because you can see it better there. I mean, you know, when I had it blown up, but now watch these lines as we all go back a little bit more and see what else we get, because I think we had like a black dark object come through. Let's see what we get here, and there's some more of it. As you can see, the darkness of a storm, and when the sun is not really up, and you got that, and that. There's a bunch there, you know. You can see those black streaks in the gray. So I'll go back a little bit more, a couple clicks, see what we get, and a little bit more of it. You get over here and there. So let's go back a little bit more and see what we get. And there you got more of it. So, and this is in the early AM. So the idea that now, in the wintertime, they normally get 23 to 24 hours. You know, they get a lot of daylight down there. Okay, now they're supposed to storm. Now you get these dark streaks back there too. So let me click some more and let's see what we've got in time and stuff there. And this is on the lower part of it. So you get some interesting streaking of dark holograms down on Earth, and basically we found it pretty much, because now you'll see the institute starting to show up there through the darkness. I'm not really worried. I wasn't trying to, but I guess while we're at it, we'll probably maybe see what we get for some daylight. So, but I mean, it's still a storm going on, okay? But through that storm, as we went through those pictures, you pretty much seen those streaks that we get from who knows what, from outer space. So, basically from the projector, the sun, and the supergiants, okay? So, you've seen the, I'm pretty sure I had the footage there of that. One of our, from somewhere in the supergiants. Now you'll probably see those streaks come off on the bottom and wherever around. I'm just gonna, what I'm doing is just getting us back to there. We go to the big streak that you see. So, and then there's a dark-ish shadow in front of that streak also there. Okay, so we'll go back one, and then it's basically got a little bit of the streaks there. You can see that one predominantly, and then there, that one there, you can't miss that one. Okay, so then we go ahead and we see the big dark streak. And as you can see, it's a winter storm in the kind of the grayness and the darkness. And where it's kind of burning up the streak over here looks like a shadow of something. Okay, so anyway, and there's another part of that, you know, maybe it's whether it's the same line or whatever you get. And it's not a camera malfunction or anything like that. It's a light that's getting propagated down to Earth. And as you've seen, it was lower there also. You get a line down there. So some interesting finds on that. Now that object, I think it was a bunch of hoax. Like I said, the video I did that was, and then you make up your own mind. And now my mind's kind of made up that basically that was basically somebody screwing around, because the clock was screwed with. You could see that the clock got funkied with. Because as you see, everything matches up here on the clock, and as you've seen that footage, I kind of pointed to it, and the clock looked a little funky. So people are trying to make people look away from and basically make a hoax of what we've factually saw down there, okay? And they've got a windmill now down there. And as you can see, there was some scientists out doing some studies. So let's hit, I don't know if I can hit play. We'll get start here. But basically, we know that it's fallen farther to the direction more to the east and north. And as you see, I mean, the sun never gives us anything like that, coming up and then burning through like that. So it's basically still doing it. It's more melding in with the sun in the supergiants, and basically from more than likely where it came from is from the supergiants. And more than likely it's a lot of the Aldenab and a lot of the it's got to be one of those, pretty much somewhat of those objects that are in, and I might as well just let it play because we'll get the sunrise. I mean, well, it doesn't matter. Even though they are sons of the supergiants, you can say suns. It's one of the suns, but it's not the sun like you have there, sunlight. And then it's there. Because basically, as you see through that footage there, that the idea that if I can freeze it, okay, that's going backwards now. Whatever I've clicked on the player, it's going backwards. So now actually I can back and step and go forward, I think. So the idea, the factuality, that the idea that it's like 140 UTC, and this should come up as our object that we've always known of. And as you can see, we've got clear sky, they've got some cloud moving in, but they're not that good at covering up on, you know, it's like, hey, well, let's build a cloud real fast because it's coming up. We want to block out. But we do know that we've had a very massive dark object before. Now, as we step through this video some more, you're going to end up seeing it burn through the clouds, which are thick and dark, right? It's not just the sun that does that. And then whammo, okay? So there you go at 720 something. Now that could be a conjoining of the sun in it. And as you see, we get that electrical energy that it puts off, and it goes down, and it decides it wants to play funky radar-orama with the... and basically, you know there's electricity in there, ladies and gentlemen, because the windmill is producing electricity, okay? So have they done this to do some kind of a study of electrical engineers, talk to them, which the Germans are very good engineers. And if so, we have an electrical source out here that gets a radar action from light, from outer space, from the suns or supergiants or whatever, because we've seen that hit the dome, hit this building before with a funky look. And it was goofy. It was around Christmas time, and like I made a joke with the idea, no, ladies and gentlemen, they didn't put Christmas lights up, and they didn't, okay? And as you see, they get a reaction like this to an electrical motor out there because that windmill is turning. And the whatever object, whatever sun that was from the supergiants that burns through right then and did that electrical action, and see that star action you see down on the ground and so forth and so folks. And what's very interesting is the electrical that basically, I'm trying to remember the astronaut up in space when he was out on a walk in outer space, folks. One of the ones that they did when they were orbiting and they went out and walked around in actual space, not on the moon, where the idea that they had these little light bumblebees, and it gave them a warm sensation, a warm feeling, okay? So they have stumbled on something down there from from one of the supergiants or wherever it's coming from outer space, because it likes to sniff out electrical magna, okay, electrification, okay? That windmill has got a motor in there and it's turning. Okay, unless they put it totally still, and I doubt it, because if they put a windmill up, I would pretty much bet some pretty good $10 bills that the idea about the joke about the politicians with the $10 bill BS. So you see it there on the ground, and then you see it hit the, and I think we're going ahead when I'm stepping there, and then yep. So we'll back up just a few hair. There you go, and there you go that it's on the ground. Because at 1730, it found its mark. 10 minutes lapse in a shot. Okay, this radar, whatever you want to call it, it zoomed in on that little electrical windmill. Okay, so we have seen that kind of star cluster action and electrical magnification from space hit the Niemeyer station before, ladies and gentlemen. Be interesting to see what the Germans. Let's put it this way: they've got some good data, because they've had to have had some readings or some kind of fluctual, or the idea that maybe their lights flickered or whatever, because they can match up to even my old footage, or you know that they have the footage of when it wrapped around the edge of the building. Anybody that's watched my videos, they know it. You know what I'm talking about. So basically, go back through my videos, and I'll try to see, and some of the fans make comments, or basically, if you're not fan, whatever. People that do watch my videos, if you remember the name of that video that I had that it showed that wrapping around the building and stuff like that, it ain't going to disappear. I've got it, because I've got it on more than one website, way more than one website. So some interesting finds, and we know that that's not just the sun. Now we know the sun was probably up around, I believe that's 10 a.m. Duh, but it did give us another very interesting, very interesting, because I'm just playing around here, trying to get back to what we were showing there, so that when you seen it the first time, it's like, what is he? And then you can back up the video. But yeah, we found that, So a lot of talking here. I'll try to save some tape, but and I'm just clicking through now. I'm probably better off just hit start and let it play. So very interesting there. So let me go ahead and watch some more of maybe one of the other cameras and see what kind of interesting things we can find from another one of the Niemeyer cameras, okay? Because having that electrical go hit that windmill that they've got out there for either a study or generating, because you're going to see this as we got a pretty decent speed here going, and click, 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 and then it's going to burn through the clouds and whammo, okay? So some interesting studies going on down there, ladies and gentlemen. And another little interesting, will show you how there should be mercury, and the idea that helioviewer actually gives us a little bit of a tilt to it. As you see, mercury's not totally flat now. But the interesting thing on this footage is watch how mercury acts, and there's some CME action that happens here, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't even know if you really see with the layers. And because you knew that was a CME that made that more than likely to the right on that footage do that. Either they were blocking something out. So what's very interesting on this is make sure you watch the magnetic of the left to right on mercury. Watch as it gets smaller, okay? And then I'm going to show you most all the military and stuff like that, which they're not going to screw with it. They're going to lay the overlay just exactly where it needs to be laid at. So as you see here with them doing that overlay, they get a little bit of a tilt of mercury here. And as you see the left and right, at the very end of the video here, this gets short right here and here, because when you first start the movie out, when you're first looking at mercury, see how wide it is, okay? And then at the very end, it shortens up, okay? See how much shorter it gets? So some more interesting electrical study in action up there in space, ladies and gentlemen. Let's show you the Navy stuff. And Mercury's flaming its ass off, as you've seen, and I showed you in the earlier video that it should be uploaded, and then it should be the same thing. It should be Mercury. If I'm wrong, if one of them is Venus or something like that, doesn't really make a difference. We're just the reactivation, the reactiveness, okay? Because in the Navy, the one that we trust the most, it's Mercury's pretty much, or even if I'm wrong and it's Venus, it's pretty much staying flat, okay? You see what I'm saying? So we trust this shot's better than all the Navy awesome shots. So now what I've got is I've tried to accumulate these up, because I try not to mess with pictures, so basically I can pop back and forth. And here's the CME from, which would be, I believe, we'll know and that's B. Okay, this is B, okay. But I got the clocks as close as I could get them to being something within an hour or something like that when I bop back and forth. So as you see this footage, I can sit here with them, and I'm not wasting time on, but the idea that below that, that's H1B, and then this is H1A, okay, and it's from the 5th. As you can see, the date is a little bit outside of the right of my deal there. But see, I can bop back and forth between this and this, and you can see what's going on to the one side of the sun and then the other side of the sun, okay? So it is literally farting its flipping ass off, ladies and gentlemen. And now that should be Mercury on ahead, okay, because that's ahead A, okay? And if you've seen the video before this, that would be showing you. And then I'm just basically toggling back and forth as much as I can, so you'll see a little bit of difference in the time differential on the clock, an hour to 2 or 3 hours. But that's as good. I don't play with photos, so I just basically syncing this up, showing you a live feed of what they have loaded in for a movie for the 5th, okay? So massive action out there, and then this is about the most action from the B, but that's still, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about size, is what I've been trying to show you. Now, let me stay on this shot. Earth is pretty much somewhere in this safety area. See, in between here, it's a very unique pattern that the sun has for us, because no matter what, with the supergiants in the sun and all those suns that are up there, we are somewhere straight away. Like when you look at Beacon, when I showed you Beacon on. Some more soon.